Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. Today we were going to have Sooner fan John Kennedy on, a.k.a. the Beard Sooner, but he had to reschedule at the last minute, so he'll be on next week. So you got Terry and Rob talking about the Sooners' win against Iowa State. The defensive Kool-Aid is still in its picture, but the defense didn't look that bad other than tackling. And we get into the Sooners' tackling woes. Tackling ain't coaching, folks. It's individual effort. Sooner football fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boomer. Hey, Sooner football fans, you got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Oklahoma beats Iowa State 37-27, coming off of a win, first conference. What's your thoughts, Rob? Happy?
Yeah, I think so. You know, away game. Kyler's first on-the-road game.
Yeah.
They didn't play bad. The offense played pretty good. Defense played, I mean, they weren't outstanding, but they played okay.
Yeah. In front of 61,000 screaming Iowans.
Yeah.
Cyclone fans. From what I could see on the TV, it was a pretty rowdy crowd.
Probably a pretty hostile environment.
You know, third largest crowd in the Big 12.
And it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
It
was
a big difference.
Yeah. But you know, looked like Iowa State was well prepared
They
for
did
Oklahoma.
look well prepared. I think that coach up there I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, Matt Campbell.
Yeah. He's doing a pretty good job. They were scheming us well. What do you call it? That umbrella defense.
Yeah.
Three down linemen and
Right.
they bring up somebody wherever they feel. It worked pretty good.
Yeah,
Took us a while to figure it out.
Worked pretty good last year too.
Yeah.
And but you know, a lot of fans were upset about. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into several things, but and we also have a fan on today. So getting back to that, one fan a week's what we're going to be doing. But let's talk about the offense first.
Okay.
We dropped off 519 yards of total offense, 348 passing, 171 rushing. So
Think that'd have been more if Rodney Anderson was there?
no.
No?
No.
Really?
No, I don't.
Huh.
I don't. I mean, Trey Sermon had 76 rushing yards. Maybe Rodney would have been a 100-yard rusher. But, I mean, Sermon carried the ball 13 times for almost 6 yards a carry. So,
Yeah. You know, I thought their D-line played is pretty tough.
yeah.
Pretty tough. And that's not the best D-line we're going to see this year.
No. Kyler Murray, actually, he was the leading rusher. But I think, some of his came off, our receivers were covered. He tucked it and ran it.
Yeah. We did see a lot more designed runs for him, though.
Yeah, we did. A little bit more offense opened up, but he had 87 yards rushing. So I think probably he carried it 15 times. I would think 10 of those were designed runs. I didn't sit back nor am I going to sit down and figure out how many of those plays were design runs. But I thought he looked good. He made good decisions with the ball. He was 21 for 29.
You know, I didn't see him sailing a whole lot of passes either.
No.
I think the only problem that he had, and it wasn't really a problem, is that he's getting some passes swatted at the line.
Yeah.
He's just not tall enough to throw over those guys sometimes, but he makes up for that in other areas.
Yeah.
I think.
But I mean, he's number one, he's calm in the pocket, which is something I was concerned whether or not he was going to be, this year. With wheels like he has, that he's just going to tuck it and run, and he stands back. He stands back there and waits. Even when he's tucking it to run, he's still looking down the field for somebody to throw to.
I just feel like he would be so effective if that pocket just moves for him a lot.
Yeah.
If he gets out of the pocket and he's looking down, even throwing on the run, I mean, not everybody throws good on the run, and he may not.
Right.
We haven't really seen it. But I'm excited, to see that pocket moving out for him so that he can.
Yeah. I don't know, now that you say that, I was thinking, just brought up a couple of plays. There was one, I don't know that he does throw the ball real well. He kind of lets it sail to the left, because there was a couple of plays where he was running and he There was one that he actually completed several times to Hollywood, but he had got pushed out of the pocket and he was running to his right and he threw it to the left. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's not something that he's. But man, I'm impressed with him just standing back there.
Oh yeah.
Calm, cool, and collective.
How
and
about Hollywood Brown, 190 yards at the half or something like that?
Yeah, 191 yards receiving.
Man.
That dude is a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, and once again, first game he shines. Last game, against UCLA, he had a good game. But CD is the featured receiver, and now we're at Iowa State. Hollywood's the featured receiver. So.
Well, it's probably just a matter of who they're going to, put their best cover guys on. Whoever they, obviously we probably can identify whoever their best cover guy is and who they're playing. So that other receiver's just going to get more love.
Yeah.
So
I think we also, and this isn't a smack on anybody, but it's, I got to say it, I guess we know who's the best at catching the deep passes, because the first deep pass went to CD and it was just over his hands, and turned right around the next series. Deep pass to Hollywood, boom, right in his.
You can't outthrow him.
I know.
You cannot throw it past his speed. I mean, that's ridiculous how fast that guy is. But, the Calcaterra, if he doesn't drop that pass, we probably go right down and score right there, and it's probably a whole different game. That turnover, and they gave them a whole bunch of momentum. They go down and score, and I think that tied it up.
Yeah.
Instead of us being up by 2 touchdowns, now it's tied or whatever.
Right.
So, I just think there was a couple of misfortunes in that game that changed the whole outcome of the game, really.
I mean, because our offense was, doing what our offense does, going and scoring. And then, the fumble gave them some momentum, like you said. He was trying to reset the ball, and move it from his right to his left. Got caught in the middle. Yeah. But you see the next catch he made, he had 2 hands on it. It looked like he was carrying a loaf of bread.
So you're not getting the ball out of his hands once he gets it tucked, I think. But that was just unfortunate. Just it happens.
Right. So, but I think overall the offense did its job. I mean, here's a question though. Okay. Last year we lose to Iowa State, and we score 31 points, something like that.
Was it that much?
Yeah, 27 points maybe. I don't know, 28 points. But anyway, this year we get the win, as should be. Mm-hmm. But we only scored 37 points. Where is our 45, 55 points? Why? What is it? Is it the umbrella that Iowa State's running that shuts us down a little bit? Nothing really shuts it down. I'd say slows it down.
Yeah, I think it's that combined with being on the road in a hostile environment. They still move the ball well. They still look good doing it. And like I say, Calcaterra holds on to that one. That's another 7 points.
Yeah.
And really, if we'd have broken Iowa State's spirit just a little bit right there, then we might, they might, because they fought us whole game.
Right. Yeah.
We had to fight and scrape for every little bit that we got. So if we break their spirit just a little bit, we might run it on up into the 50s. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is what I think, we're not, everybody tends to look at Oklahoma as the big play, run and gun and This offense is just a methodical beast. It is just a chug.
It's more grounded than people are giving it credit for. They're just used to the spread it and throw it kind of a deal. But I was not impressed with our running plays. Mm-hmm. It seemed like I was like, okay, this is going to be sermon up the middle, and guess what? It was sermon up the middle.
Right.
A yard or 2 yards or minus a yard. I thought we could have been a little bit more creative, but that was probably in the game plan. We're not going to just come out and just show the playbook.
Right.
If we can beat them by 10 points and be vanilla, then that's what we're going to do.
Right. Did what we had to do to win the game, and I think that's what Lincoln is maybe becoming better at than maybe what he was last year even. Mm-hmm. We're going to do what we have to do to win the game. If that's throw the ball around, then we're going to throw the ball around. If that's going to run it, that's going to be, perfectly even in both, balanced in both, but it is just this offense just does what it's supposed to do, which is go score points. Now we ended up with 3 field goals in this game, and only thing you can do there is credit Iowa State's defense. I mean, Siebert was 3 for 3, on field goals. So,
I'd say they played us tough.
Yeah, only punted twice, so that means every time we had the ball except twice, we scored. And in the second half, the first half, that, the half-ending drive that even the announcers were like, boy, they're taking too much time. Why are they, they're going to run out of time. That was beautiful clock management.
Absolutely.
I mean, it went down to, the last few seconds, 15 seconds of the half. Just methodically went down, put more points on the board.
Yeah, and for the most part did it with ease.
Yeah.
I don't want to say with ease because, everybody still had to, everybody was still humped up. But, we moved the ball for the most part at will.
Yeah.
That may be, I don't know, at will.
Not at will,
strong
just
word, but
when we had to, I think would be when push come to shove, our offense pushed it and scored.
Yeah. And Kyler threw some great passes into some tight windows.
Yeah.
We broke runs when we had to. But you know what? We hit or we tried that pass with a CD, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2 steps in front of everybody. Then we hit Marquise running across, and he was gone. But we didn't try that play a whole lot after that.
Well, I don't know that we didn't try it; that it was just covered. They throw that umbrella, throw another guy over the top. It's just not there. You know what I mean? And
they brought some pressure,
and it looked like what they intended after those 2 plays, and they did, was keep everything underneath. And that's fine if you're going to give us.
Yeah. Take what the defense gives you.
And even the announcers on the game said, Iowa State's given, they're given a cushion. They're giving them those 5 and 6, 7 yard routes, and Oklahoma's going, okay, if that's what you're going to give me, that's what you're going to give me, and I'll take it. So
I don't think you ever played it. I don't think you play video games, but I used to play that college NCAA game a lot, and I know probably a bunch of our listeners did as well. If I ever caught a defense in a one-up safety, I'm switching into a wheel route play. And we never do that.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't think we've ever. I don't know that I've ever seen us run a wheel route. Now, obviously I don't get to watch them all or see it, every play or whatever. But with the speed that we've got, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because that's an effective play. You pull that safety, to one side with your eyes. The wheel route's working to the right.
Right.
And, you bomb him deep, and it's a touchdown every time. But this ain't NCAA football. The game.
I quit playing NCAA football when Caleb was almost, but he never beat me. But I just never let my kids beat me at anything. Sure. So I quit playing. I retired.
I don't think my kids ever beat me.
That way, I think the last game I beat Caleb on, because you could build your teams back then, and I built a team, and I had a kicker that could kick a 75-yard field goal, and I beat him, and he was ahead by a point, and was all happy, and I lined up for a last second field goal and beat him with like a 70-yard field goal.
That's ridiculous.
He threw the controller, and he was in like 5th grade. I don't know. He was screaming and hollering at me, and but that's the last time I played him. Never beat me.
So what'd you think about the defense? How they played?
Defense. I wasn't displeased. I don't know that we were ever. As we were last year, in times just flat out beaten on anything. Mike, we were just listening to his press conference with that big Hakeem Butler. I think he's right. They were throwing 50-50 balls, and we weren't getting our share of them.
Well, he was 6'5".
Yeah.
Barnum Motley's 5'9" or whatever.
Yeah, and that long touchdown there is nothing Motley could have done any better other than to intercept that pass.
Yeah, because he was all over.
He was all over him. Had his hand inside. Had his hand on the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do? There's nothing you can do about that. I don't think we were, out of position. It didn't look like we got burnt. Is what I'm happy about. You know what I mean? There was one play there where he was way behind the defense. Yeah.
10 or 15 yards. Had the quarterback through that where he could have continued to run, that would have been a touchdown. But he had to stop and come back to the ball, and we caught up to him. But
but I mean, that happens in every game. Last year it happened on every play. Right. Okay.
But they didn't just have a ton of yards outside of a few broken plays, really. We, for the most part, the defense played pretty well. They weren't just gashing us here and there and everywhere. I think fans would have liked to have seen something
a shutout.
And honestly, I put this out on your Twitter because a lot of people are kind of going crazy about the game. So I think that they're not – I don't know so much if they're going crazy about how they thought the defense played really bad as much as they are. We're looking for, as fans –
right,
our team to come out and show that we are one of the elite teams.
Right.
And let's just say one of the elite four, just, for the playoff perspective.
Right.
And when we come out and we don't just, Iowa State put the 3 points last week on Iowa.
Right.
It was terrible.
Right.
So, fans were like, well, we shouldn't be giving up more than Iowa did.
Well, but I mean, let's look at that game. Number one, they played 5 plays in their first game that got canceled. They had no you're stepping out against your rival, your in-state rival. That is their rival. Okay, that's their Texas, with no game under their belt. Their starting quarterback gets hurt. Zeb has to come in.
He played like a champ. I hate to say it, but I don't necessarily think we played bad, but we didn't play. We made him look pretty good, I think.
Well, it was 25 of 36, 1 interception, 360 yards, and 2 TDs. It's like I said, I don't know. I'm not drinking the defensive Kool-Aid. Everybody's still not drinking. There's stuff, and we're going to talk about it, a little bit later. We're going to talk about the tackling issues, but we're just talking about defense overall right now. And I wasn't too awful. I mean, like I said, I don't think we got out-schemed. I don't think we were in where – I don't think the defense wasn't designed to whatever play they were running to stop. Yeah. I think Mike had us in everything. Now, there were issues, and those issues don't come from the scheme. It comes from the players. But
well, for instance, Curtis Bolton drops 2
interceptions
right in his hands. Interceptions.
Right.
So he catches those things, and we're probably having a whole different conversation about the defense.
Right. But again, our def, I put it this morning out on Twitter. One of my thoughts, overnight was, I look back at the game, looking at the stats. We shut them out in the first quarter and held them 3 points in the fourth quarter. We held them to 27 points. This offense, if you hold a team to 27 points, you should win every game.
Yeah, we probably will.
And everybody, you've said it, I've said it, and I think most fans out there will say, if we can hold teams to 21 points, we're going to win every game.
Well, I agree with that.
And here we go. We hold a team to 27 points, and we win, and everybody's bitching about it.
Well, it's going back to what I said. They were looking for us to come out and show that we're an elite team, and I don't feel like we did that. I mean, we played solid. We played okay. We played good. But, we didn't come out and look like a top 4 team, or at least I don't think we did.
Well, let's jump ahead a little bit here. And let's jump back a little bit. Did Clemson last week against A&M?
I don't think so.
Nope. Did Ohio State against TCU?
Well, possibly.
I didn't watch all the game, but TCU gave them everything they wanted. That I was at the fair yesterday and last night, and so every time I walked up to the beer stand that had a TV, I stood there.
Ohio State scored twice on defense.
Yeah.
So I mean, TCU can't do that. They can't give away those kind of touchdowns like that. But Ohio State, I thought, looked elite.
Yeah.
That defense was all over TCU.
Yeah.
And really, to be honest with you, I think TCU played a terrific game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just got beat by a stronger, bigger opponent.
I thought TCU, and you know this, I thought TCU had a chance to win that game going into it.
Yeah. And you know what? They fought hard. They played good. But late in that game, Ohio State opened it up on them.
But let's Alabama obviously has looked elite. They played Mississippi State, wasn't it? Mississippi.
No, they played Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah. 55 to whatever.
It could have been. They could have named a score.
So yes, elite. Clemson, top 5 team. Ohio State, top 5 team. Who's the other? Georgia, top 5 team. Oklahoma, top 5 team. I think Oklahoma looked as good. I think our offense looked as good as it has, and our defense just had its moments.
So what it comes down to is how good then is Iowa State? Because if Iowa State turns out to be pretty good, then we kind of had our way with them and still made some errors that we probably shouldn't. Once we get that cleaned up, we'll be even more solid than we are now. But if Iowa State comes, they lost to Iowa and only scored 3 points in the process. But that was technically their first game, and it was away for them. Yeah. So we'll see what the season holds. But I thought 2 teams on Saturday kind of separated themselves, and that, honestly, as a Sooner fan, I hate to say this, nobody's beating Alabama.
Yeah, not in the regular season
because the defense is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and they got offense, man.
Well, on our defense, let's see, Broyles, our linebackers. Broyles had 5 tackles. Murray, 3 tackles. Bolton, 3 tackles. Because basically they had to throw the ball. Iowa State did. They had no running game because another good thing that the defense did, they made them throw the ball. Which last year we didn't want that to happen because we couldn't cover a bed with a blanket last year. But we put it in their quarterback's hands.
And he made he made some throws, Terry. I think that we had the receiver as covered as he could be covered, and that kid put some balls in there that were perfect.
Yeah, and
so give props.
I mean it's he did his job. They came out there. They took or they tried to take what our defense gave us, and again, we didn't give up any massively big plays that we didn't have covered. Is my deal. It's not like. It's not like when we played Ohio State 2 years or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was, and they threw to one receiver 172 times and he caught 178 of them because, yes, there was a bigger number that he caught because he caught everything that was over there and we couldn't cover him. Right. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that he did anything great. He was just that much better than our secondary, and we covered him with everybody on the team. So
or tried to
it's not that we weren't out schemed, we weren't out played, which let's just go ahead and get into it since we're right on the defense, and we'll get on some other stuff too. Tackling. Before hold on, I get a good drink of water. Okay, because I got to roll on this one.
All right.
Okay. I'm sick and tired of watching this team, and it's the defensive backs, okay? It's the safeties. It's the nickel back, the highly recruited ones. I'm not going to go into any names. I'm not going to bash any kid because they're kids. That's what they are, okay? But this bull crap of going up, throwing your shoulder into a kid and hitting him with your shoulder, hitting him with your side. There were guys coming up there from the secondary with their heads down and diving into and missing, flat out missing.
Just a rookie mistake. And there was one play, in fact, where I don't know if it was a little pass, but he was kind of bunched up in the middle there, and he got hit by 3 different corners.
Yeah.
And stayed on his feet.
Yes. hit, not hit, and that's the problem. And I'm going to say that ain't coaching, okay? Because everybody, we had, I think, as fans, almost unprecedented look at our team during fall camp. There was stuff every day that this team put out on YouTube, on Twitter, that you could see little highlights. I've seen them big giant red donuts that they roll, and these guys practice tackling on them. It's a donut so they can throw their hand through the hole and the other side and tackle it. Not run up and knock the donut down. Hell, I can go and knock the donut down. These guys are wrapping the donut up and picking it up and dropping it. They're tackling. This is not coaching. These guys are coached to tackle.
That's an individual player decision.
Exactly. That is, in my opinion, okay, it's laziness, it's lack of effort, it's arrogance. It's a highlight reel. They want to go up there and throw a shoulder into some kid and knock him 4 feet out of bounds and get on Sports Center. Okay?
Didn't you?
Okay, Rob, seriously, I wanted to be on Sports Center too, but if I ever ran up in my day and tackled a kid with throwing a shoulder into him, what would have happened?
Oh yeah, you've been running.
Yeah, that's not tackling. That's the problem with that's the problem with college football, and it's not just Oklahoma, but I mean with college football and the pros. The secondaries are not tackling anymore. They're going up and bumping guys down, knocking them out of bounds. And like you said, there was that running back one time bounced off of 3 guys. If one of the and I guarantee you how many arms were out, Rob, to wrap up. None of them had an arm out.
Yeah, this is really the first game that I think we've seen that. The first 2 games, I thought they did a really good job of tackling. They probably, they're probably running for that this week, don't you bet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I bet next week they're going to wrap up.
And there was a play, I think it was a pro game that Caleb and I were watching last week, and they called unnecessary roughness. What is it? Spearing? Targeting. Okay. It was not a target. Okay. And I told Caleb, I said, that's the problem. If that guy has his arms out, okay,
he's launching.
And hits that guy and wraps him up, that is not a target. No referee will throw a flag. He looked like a missile, arms at the side.
Okay.
Boom. He hit the guy in the chest. They ended up not calling it. Okay. They reviewed it. Maybe it was a call. I can't remember what game it was. But I keep preaching to Caleb and when other people I'm watching, if you wrap a guy up, they're not going to call targeting because that's a tackle. Targeting is when you launch yourself at somebody's head and try to take their head off, helmet to helmet. If you got your arms out and you wrap up and you got the guy around the numbers, around the shoulders and take him down, nobody's going to call targeting on you. You're going to go, that's a good tackle.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that yesterday.
Yeah, but I am so sick and tired of this, and we could go on for hours on this, Rob. I'm so pissed off about this. That was our problem yesterday against Iowa State. Okay, we did not tackle in the secondary. We tried to knock them down. Quit knocking them down, and that game's a whole different story.
Yeah, you're probably right. And we didn't like you and I agree. We didn't play bad defensively. We just didn't play as well as we thought we should, probably.
And this is my take on it is I'm still not drinking the defensive Kool-Aid. I'm happier what our defense is doing. I want to see continue because I'm not unhappy with what they did Saturday. We won. They held them to 27 points. Mm-hmm. You and I said this at the beginning of the season. If we hold everybody in the 20s, we're going to win every game.
Yeah.
So let's just do that. That's what this defense is doing. What ticks me off is everybody out there, and you can say anything you want during a game. Okay, you can holler, fire Mike Stoops, fire Bob Stoops, fire Lincoln Riley, set the stadium on fire, whatever you want to holler during a game. But when it's over and your team wins, don't start stepping out here saying, fire Mike Stoops is this idiot, his defense is da-da-da. That's not coaching. What this team this weekend did was not bad coaching. It was bad effort. It was laziness. Bad tackling. These guys or Division I football players, they spend hours on tackling drills. Mm-hmm. I've seen them spend hours on tackling drills because you see it on YouTube now. You can go look at their spring or fall practice reports. It's laziness, just like Jason said, about the Rose Bowl from Jason Young from the Football Brainiacs. You saw lack of effort. When you're not tackling, that's lack of effort.
Yeah. Outside of that, what other things did you see that were potential? I don't want to say problems, but weak spots or something like that.
I mean, I think our secondary size is still a weak spot. We're not real big in the secondary.
Well, there was one pass to that tall receiver. I forgot his name already. 6'5", Parnell Motley was covering him, and he's got some springs. I mean, he jumped up there.
Yeah. But
5'9" going against 6'5" is you're probably going to lose one half of those battles.
And let's face it, Buki ain't 5'9". Okay, you look out there, he is a little dude out there among men, and he does a great job.
He might be in cleats.
Yeah, but our secondary, and I think we've addressed that. I think Lincoln and Mike have addressed that. I am still extremely happy with our front seven, our front line, our linebackers. They're playing, and what I like to see is what I know you like to see is our defense. When we do make tackles, the guy's getting hit 6 or 7 times. There is red or white swarming all around whoever has the ball.
Yep.
And so I think our Achilles is just our secondary size. Like I said, Motley was just outmanned. He was, and not outmanned, just out physical. Even Mike said, the guy, if he blocks you out, he's blocking you out. We just don't have the size to cover him.
So when Bolton went out, he was not replaced by Caleb Kelly.
Right.
Do you know what the deal is on that?
I don't know. The word is that they're talking about redshirting Caleb Kelly.
Is he injured?
I don't know.
Or is he just stinking it up? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
we have to get in touch with some of our
insiders to find out what's going on, because
what's up with that?
Why else would they think about redshirting him? To keep, if he's just stinking it up, they wouldn't talk about redshirting him.
I don't know, but you remember preseason, all we could talk about was how Caleb Kelly looks so good.
Yeah.
He's built so much muscle,
bigger, stronger,
stronger, faster. And now he's not. Did he get one play? I don't think he was on the field at all.
I couldn't tell you. I didn't. If you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't even thought about it. Right. To be honest with you, that's interesting. Though I just saw that they were talking about that. Lincoln said that they were thinking about redshirting.
He is the only 5-star linebacker that we currently have on roster. Yeah. I think.
So, that's something to think about, or try to find out. But I mean, do you have any issues with how those linebackers and the linemen are playing?
No, I think it's a vast improvement from last year. Obviously, we weren't getting gashed open, and guys running wide open in the secondary. I mean, there were some. It just seemed like there were some times where we couldn't stop them, couldn't shut them down. But I mean, they're a fairly good team. They schemed against us. They knew our weaknesses.
Right.
They tried to play them against us. So.
But on the other, even when they were moving, in the second and third quarters, the defense, they were getting their third down conversions. I mean, man, we were a half step from getting to the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just the defense was attacking the whole time. There was none of this. I mean, unless I didn't see it, and I might, was there any of this 3-man rush and drop back, or or we were attacking their offense?
Well, it did seem like we had a lot of pass rush.
Yeah.
I mean, we were making him move around and stuff, but he stayed poised and he threw good passes. But you've seen it quite a bit. They knew they had a mismatch out there with that 6'5" receiver.
Yeah,
and so they were trying to go to that well a lot, and and it worked out for him quite a bit. I think that guy had some pretty good receiving yards against us. But nothing else that they did to us really stood out besides a few plays that got behind us and that one receiver. And really, that was it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I'm not too unhappy with it. I wish they would have tackled a little better. I wish Bolton would have got those 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Because that probably changes the whole outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Other than that, I wouldn't mind scoring in the 50s, but it is what it is. We got out with a W, and that's good enough.
Yep. So another topic I wanted to touch on before we get into the Big 12 and a couple other things is Kyler for Heisman.
Kyler for Heisman. Well, I think he's got a legit.
Oh, I do too.
He's in the discussion right now.
But we've talked about it before, Rob. Do you want another Heisman or do you want another Natty?
No, I'd rather have a Natty. I'm sorry, Kyler. I'd rather have the Natty. And you know what? He probably would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't want to get into this talk. Halfway through the game, you see posts on Twitter and other places. This is another Heisman moment and this and this. I could care less about the Heisman. Yeah. If he wins it or if he's in it, of course, guys. Of course, I'm going to root for him to win it. But I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of filling up Heisman Park and not filling up the trophy case.
Yes. You know what I want, Terry? This is what I want.
What's that?
I want a linebacker standing on the middle of the field during the coin flip saying, "You got my boy's Heisman, and we're here to get it back."
Exactly.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
And then kick their booty and win the national title.
Yeah. And even the commentators, they threw it up. First 3 games of the year, Kyler's 1 yard behind Baker,
and relatively the same in every other category. Yeah. Which I bet Kyler's got more rushing yards.
Yeah, Kyler will end up having a lot more rushing yards
probably
when it's said and done. And I love what Blinken Riley put out was Kyler's leading the slidesman. Leading the votes for the slide. Dude can slide, and he does it all on the right times.
He does it perfectly.
And I don't have any issue with that. I mean, it seems like when he's had to get that yard, he puts his head down to get to it. But if he doesn't need to,
I don't even want him doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 5'9", 180.
Yeah.
I do not want a 6'3", 260-pound linebacker.
Right,
putting a hit on him.
But I mean, we're 3 games into the season. Okay, to me, it's the same as talking about the playoffs. I mean, what point does it make talking about it right now? Yeah, you start talking about it on game 10, 11, 12, where you got all these guys who put out these stats. But honestly, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want Kyler for Heisman. That's great if he wins it. Kayla and I were talking. Has the school ever won it back-to-back years with 2 different quarterbacks or 2 different running backs?
Ones? No, I was going to say Archie Griffin. But
yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean? Nobody's ever dropped
How
2.
cool would that be?
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty cool. But
it wouldn't be nearly as cool as if we dropped a national championship, the Dr. Pepper Trophy, in the Barry Switzer Center because we don't have a Dr. Pepper Trophy. I like the Dr. Pepper Trophy. They're prettier than the crystal ball that we have. Mm-hmm. But it's just irritating that to me as a fan that some fans and it's what fans do. I got that, but I mean it becomes we're looking at another Heisman. I don't want another Heisman. I want I want another another Natty hanging up in there. I don't want another statue in the park.
I mean, if I'm gonna dream big, I want them both.
Yeah,
but I would take the Natty like 99.9% over the. Yeah.
But again, it's no hate to Kyler. He's going to be in the running for the for the Heisman.
I think so. As long as we win, I mean.
Yeah, and if he keeps playing like what he's playing, it may be one of the most lopsided wins in Heisman history because.
Well, I don't know that kid from Alabama.
Yeah, well.
Tua Tagovailoa. I think I butchered his name right there a little bit, but. Tagovailoa.
Yeah,
I'm not even trying that anymore. He's pretty legit.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
But if it comes down to which I hope it does, Oklahoma and Alabama in the national title, give Tyler Hubla or whatever his name is the Heisman, and us the Natty.
Yeah.
Alabama's got enough of them right now.
They got plenty. I'm just going to tell you, it's going to take a monumental game for somebody to beat them.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope LSU beats them, and then I hope, I don't know, whoever else, Auburn, I hope, Vanderbilt.
Well, I mean, they do play in the SEC, and every team in the SEC has national championship capabilities. Don't you know that, Rob?
Well, according to ESPN, they do.
I mean, if they've got to play the hardest schedule in the world, come on.
Honestly, there are 3 of them right now that look really good, and I'm adding LSU in there because I think Auburn is no joke.
Yeah.
And they, of course, it was last second or whatever.
Yeah.
But still, it's a pretty good win for them. It's the best win, I think, nationwide right now.
Yeah.
But them and, Georgia and Alabama, they're going to be pretty tough to beat. So, but they're going to beat up each other.
Yep.
So.
And ESPN, again, you're not allowed to put 3 SEC teams in. And, we've talked about this before. I don't think there should be 2. It's, you can't do that. That's unfair. Anyway, since we're on the rankings, number 5 again, I think we're ranked number 5. I have no issues with the ranking.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
We're week 3. We're undefeated.
Because we know that, one of those top 4, they're going to go down. We know that because they play each other.
Yeah.
They got no choice. So we're going to be top. If we win out, we're going to be in the top 4.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yep. So,
of course, now saying that though, LSU went from unranked to now they're 3-0, which they played one good team, and they're at, what are they, 8, 8, something like that. I mean, that's a pretty good jump.
Yeah, it's their SEC. Come on.
I mean, that's an impressive jump.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the Big 12. Okay, the Pokes beat Boise State. Did that shock you?
A little bit. I think I was picking Boise State to come in there. Too. And I guess Oklahoma State's a little bit better than I was giving them credit for.
Yeah, and they beat them in big fashion, 44-21. So
how much of their mouth are we going to have to put up with for?
Oh, a lot of it.
When did they actually play somebody with a defense so that we can? Because you know what, they outmanned Boise State's offensive line just in a bad way.
Yeah. And I really didn't get to watch any football other than the Sooners when Teresa had family over and we went to the fair yesterday. So all I got to catch of anything was, like I said, at the beer stands at the fair, and standing around while they were doing other things. So I didn't really get to see anything other than catch scores. Kansas State beat San Antonio, UT San Antonio, handily, 41-17.
Wow, I mean,
Texas Tech beat Houston 63-49.
That's a pretty solid little win.
Yeah. Let's see, Kansas.
Where did they come from?
Drubs Rutgers 55-14.
I mean, they lose to Samford Sons.
And Lamont, no.
I mean, they still the who was it they won't be last week? The Chippewas.
Yeah, Central Michigan.
Central Michigan. Obviously it is what it is, but I'm surprised they won last week and this week, to be honest with you.
I was listening to one of the radio shows that had somebody on, and I think it was last week's game against Central Michigan was the first game that their play-by-play guy, their radio guy, was the first road game he had ever done that they had won.
Oh man, they're breaking all kinds of records.
But hats off. I mean, Kansas is helping the Big 12 out a little bit. They're getting some wins. They were the stepchild of college football. Absolutely, and now they're not.
Well, somebody asked before Saturday, there were 3 pretty marquee games in the Big 12, and how were they gonna, how was the Big 12 gonna fare? And it was Oklahoma State, Boise State, TCU, Ohio State, and
USC and Texas.
USC, Texas, and I said we were gonna go 0-3.
Yeah, and we went 2-1.
2-1, and TCU made a
TCU looked good.
Pretty good showing. They're gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, Texas, that shocked me. They handled them. Of course, now, everybody's coming out, well, it was a bad USC team. Of course it was. The Big 12 can't beat anybody good.
Well, they're bad, though. They're bad.
Yeah, but, Texas was down 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. I ran into a couple of Texas fans at the fair, and I was like, I asked him who's winning. The guy went, he goes, I don't know. I'm too scared to listen.
Oh.
So
That's funny.
But
it's a good win for them, though.
yeah, it is, and it's a good win for the Big 12. And you and I aren't big. We don't. We're not Big 12 rooters,
Not
but
really, no.
right now, the Big 12, Oklahoma needs the Big 12 to look good.
We need them to, because unfortunately everybody judges us based on that. So when it comes down to the end of the year, if there's an undefeated, Oklahoma versus an undefeated, nobody comes to mind, Wisconsin or something like that. Of course, we know that Wisconsin lost, but we're not getting in over somebody like that. Probably. And then Duke drubbed Baylor. Oh, man.
So
they must really, really be bad.
And, we talked about Ohio State, the TCU game. I wouldn't have been shocked if that had gone other ways. Again, I didn't see the game. Rob, you said, their defense, Ohio State's defense just stepped up and won that game. So,
well, the TCU was running them pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always felt like Ohio State was in control, even when TCU was up.
Yeah.
And TCU was up by 12 at one time, I think.
Yeah.
But they were trying that little option pitch that, where the quarterback's rolling out and he pitches it forward to the running back.
Yeah.
Well, he pitched it right to the defensive lineman who runs for 30 or 40 yards into the end zone without anybody getting there. So, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah. I heard that play. I was walking past and somebody had it on the TV, and I heard, that he intercepted the shuttle pass and scored. So, and then I think something that hurt the Big 12. I don't know how much. I know it probably hurt West Virginia, but West Virginia's game with South Carolina got canceled. I don't know why somebody didn't have the idea. I don't know the logistics. I don't know if you can, but why a Big 12 team playing out of town didn't throw up their stadium and say, hey, play the game here. Or even if you can do that, I don't know.
All comes down to money, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
I think West Virginia would have lit them up.
Yeah, so it probably is going to hurt West Virginia more than it hurts the Big 12. So, and but it is what it is. You can't play a game in a hurricane. So
that's true.
And those people right now are just getting drenched with all that water. So, but anyway, I think all in all, the Big 12 looked pretty good for the weekend.
They made a lot better showing than I thought they would.
And I think what a lot of people thought they would. So,
what about those Cowboys, though? They're going to be...
Yeah, it's good. Hey, when the Cowboys beat somebody like Boise State and, they play well, it only makes Bedlam that much funner for us to slap them down and show them, who's boss.
I agree.
Because all their fans are going to be like, oh, we all thought we were going to be bad, and we're going to go out there and, drop off 65 on them again. And
then we're all bandwagon
fans
that
didn't go to school there.
Didn't go to school there.
So,
which I, spent a lot of many years there.
So,
a lot of many.
But, okay, what we had been planning on doing and what we're going to be doing on our Monday podcast is having fans back on, because that's what we are. But our fan that was going to come on, John Kennedy, the Bearded Sooner on Twitter, was going to be on with us, but he texted during our recording and said that he had some personal stuff come up, wasn't going to be able to be available for us, so we'll get somebody on next week, probably John. But Rob, final thoughts on the Sooners and Iowa State.
Final thoughts, I think, we played pretty good. We didn't do anything all that exciting, so then it was kind of a little bit of a boring game. I mean, outside of some of the passes that we hit, deep.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a ho-hum, running up the middle and get what we get and let the offense get what they get. I think we're better than what we played.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we are ready to take on, Alabama.
Right.
Which is
good point.
Which is where I want to be. I want to, that's what I want.
Right.
So,
well, I agree. I think myself overreacted a little bit. I think a lot of Sooner fans overreacted a little bit. We said at the beginning of the year and all summer long, hey man, these first 4 games, they ain't going to be easy. We've got, Lane coming in here. They were a good team. We got UCLA coming in here with a Chip Kelly factor. Then,
right.
We got Iowa State, and then we got Army. This ain't going to be no deal. Well, the first two games were good. Mm-hmm. I mean, they weren't as good as what we expected them to be.
Oh, they weren't? I think those first two games we kind of impressed.
Well, I do too. But, I think we drubbed them. But here's a team I think everybody said the same thing is, hey, it's going to be a tough. It's not going to be no gimme. And it wasn't a gimme. Now everybody's pissed off that it wasn't a gimme.
Well, everybody started drinking the Kool-Aid, even though they said they weren't.
Yeah, they were
myself included.
They were drinking the Kool-Aid.
My score prediction on that Iowa State game was 38-3, just based on Iowa State didn't put up but 3 points on Iowa, and I thought, man, we're gonna give it to them. And I've been saying that for a long time. It's kind of a revenge game, but
yeah. Well, I think mine was 45-24. I think it was or 45-21. I think is what I had. So
so you're pretty close.
Yeah, and it's funny. Me and Caleb, Caleb had 17, and so he was like, when they scored 21, he was like, damn it, there goes my prediction, and I was the same way. So, again, what I want this defense to do, and so far they've done it, is hold teams in the 20s. Mm-hmm. We hold everybody in the 20s. We're going to win every game.
Yeah,
and that includes Alabama. Can we hold Alabama into the 20s?
So you think we can score more than 20 on
I think this offense can score. I think Lincoln Riley can make this offense score however many points he needs to score to win a game. That's my opinion.
All right. That's a bold prediction, Cotton.
Yeah. Cotton.
You never seen Dodgeball?
Yeah, but it just caught me off guard.
You gotta watch Dodgeball,
I watched Dodgeball, but it was just like, I knew what you were talking, but it just went Cotton. But I mean, I honestly think that Lincoln Riley, and if you give him, if we got to play Alabama and talk about Heisman talk, I'm not even going to get into that. But I think Lincoln Riley can scheme any defense that he wants to.
Okay.
And
we'll get a pretty good look when we play probably TCU, because that's probably the best defense we're going to play.
You don't think Texas is?
No. No. They're in Texas, but it's Texas Christian University. And honestly, I think their defense is pretty legit. Uh-huh. I know Ohio State put 40 on them, but 2 of those were defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, so. There are no moral victories in football, but I thought TCU, let's face it, what, Rob, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, TCU was a mid-major.
Oh, absolutely.
And they stepped into the Big 12, and in my opinion, it made this conference better.
Yeah.
They're carrying the weight of Texas on their shoulder because everybody else down in Texas pretty much sucks.
Well, all your traditional Big 12ers are not anymore carrying their weight.
Right.
We're dragging everybody around, including Texas and Oklahoma State.
And even Nebraska and Colorado and Missouri, they're not carrying their weight in their conference. No. And we didn't even talk about Nebraska. That was terrible. I hate that for them.
I hate that. I know that they're a bitter rival, but I always like Nebraska.
Oh yeah, the rival with Oklahoma and Nebraska it's not even a love-hate. This is the greatest rivalry in football, and we want to play it every year, and we want to drink a beer and hug everybody and say good job and walk away. But you want to win it, but
yeah, I just hate that they're terrible. Yeah. I mean, and they're bad.
Yeah, you did get that was Kent State, right?
No, it was Syracuse, wasn't it?
No, Syracuse beat Florida State, just drubbed Florida State.
Yeah, it was last week when we were sitting here talking about those Florida teams being bad.
They are horrible.
Oh, man, they're bad.
I'm telling you, Lane Kiffin may have the best team in Florida right now.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, no, wait, Justin Fuente, right? South Florida?
No, Fuente is Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, Rob.
I know. Who's the coach at South Florida? It's Texas. Strong.
Charlie Strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he may actually have South Florida. They're not bad.
So, but, I mean, again, good showing for the Big 12 this week. I think Oklahoma. It's funny. Joel Klatt, who has been pushing Oklahoma, he's not pushing them, but he was like, wasn't quite as pressed this weekend as it had
came
been.
Back to the pack a little bit.
Yeah. But it's funny that he kind of pulled back, but yet others in the media have kind of stepped up. I was listening to the radio coming home, and they were like, "Hey, Oklahoma, how do you lose a Heisman Trophy winner and your offense most people think is better than it was, or is going to end up being better than it was last year?"
Well, numbers wise, it's at least the same.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
So and what have we been saying about that defense? If it moves 20 spots from 67 to 47,
look out.
We're going to be right back in the game.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I think we're better than that.
Yeah,
honestly.
I do too.
And that may be drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit.
No. Drinking the Kool-Aid is saying that we've got the best defense and da-da-da-da. They're playing elite
that's
level.
Not drinking, that's injecting it straight into your
mouth. That's called addiction. But, the Kool-Aid is still on the table with me. I'm not unhappy with the defense. I'm unhappy with the effort of our defense because tackling is effort.
Yeah, but those things are things that can be worked out.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Last year, if they didn't know where they were supposed to be and when they were supposed to be there, that can't be worked out as easily.
And I like what one of our fans put on Twitter, on one of our responses. He goes, "I would rather work on, find out what we need to work on in a win than a loss. We won the game." We know we got to work on tackling.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't doubt if Mike Stoops and his defensive staff got those guys in that fancy workout area with them big old rolling donuts tackling, wrapping up. Who is our secondary coach? I got my list over there. I don't even know who our secondary coach is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But anyway, my list is across the room, and I'm too lazy to get up and get it. So
this week we got a 6 o'clock kick.
Yep.
With Army. Who won this week, right?
Yep. So they beat Hawaii.
You know what? I didn't get to see any stats because ESPN sucks. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yep.
They are really bad. I hate ESPN.
Yeah. Well, I'll pull the stuff on Army and stuff. We got their podcast going to be on Stars and Stripes podcast.
Okay.
Is going to be on with us on Monday night for our Tuesday podcast. So we got that going, and we'll pull those stats and look at Army. We're going to have to tackle Army.
We better be tackling that.
Yeah, because you're running an option, and they're gonna be little and nimble, and they're gonna bounce around. You better wrap people up.
Well, people are gonna have to play their roles. If they're
right.
B gap, they better be B gap,
right.
because if not,
well, we were watching. No, you were here at the house when they showed Army had a passing touchdown. Remember, we're like, did Army just throw the ball? It was a highlight. So
yeah, didn't they throw it like a dozen times?
Yeah, and Hawaii was playing at 6 o'clock in the morning their time.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference. But hey, they go to college in Hawaii. So what? I mean, but
are we on upset alert again from ESPN?
I don't know yet. It's too early to tell. So, but for those of you who don't know. We are going to be having a tailgate with a lot of folks coming in, and we've teamed up with Reload Status, Oklahoma Edition, and Boomer Boys, and podcast, and Just Okay and Sports Podcast. We're hosting a big tailgate on Saturday.
I listened to the Boomer Boys the other day. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
If you haven't listened to them, you need to go do that. They're pretty good. I like them.
But we're also going to be recording a podcast this week. They're going to be in town from the AZ, and we're going to do a podcast with them on Friday nights to drop on Saturday morning for your pregame listening pleasure. But we got a big weekend coming up. I mean, it's going to be a fun weekend. Army. I'm looking forward to that game just because I know how this university always honors its military, and they've done things like this, and it's going to be a neat atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we've invited Army fans to stop by the tailgate to have a drink, talk some football, let us, to fellowship and, just say thank you, because those families have, even people that are going to the academies, they're signing up to serve the country. So
yep.
Show
they're
your
putting
respect.
Their lives on the line.
Right. So a lot of these guys, when they graduate, well, not a lot of them, all of them, when they graduate college, they go to defend the country. They, the rest of us go get a normal job. These guys go strap on gear and defend. So
get shot at.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be a big fan of that.
No, me either.
But I'm slow.
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm just going to be like, listen, you're going to have to be a good shot.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's like, my dad, when I quit going to college, he was always one, he's military. He was like, you need to join the Army. And I said, Dad, I don't want to join the Army. He's like, well, why not? And I said, I don't want to put myself in a position to have to kill somebody or be killed. And he goes, well, then you don't need to join the Army. Because, I mean, if I want to do that, I'd become a cop.
Hey, something that's good to talk about. I don't have any problem or any worries that Sooner fans are going to treat Army fans.
Oh no, it's going to be cool.
No respect, because that's what it's a Sooner family.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be a great experience, and and even any fans that come here, I've never seen anybody. There were UCLA fans posting stuff. There were FAU fans posting stuff about how, the environment was great. The fans were,
good. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, the fans were, the Oklahoma fans were hospitable and fun. And guys, it's college football. It's supposed to be fun.
Well, yeah, but when you're a blue blood program,
yeah,
I'm not saying we're looking down on folks, but I mean,
yeah,
we're at the top of the college football
mountain, and there's people like fans of UCLA and other teams. It's like they want to come to watch Oklahoma play because it's Oklahoma. It's the same as a lot of people going, I want to go watch a Notre Dame game because it's Notre Dame, or Michigan because it's Michigan. There are fans out there, guys, that aren't Oklahoma fans that want to come to Norman to watch an Oklahoma game because it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because of the history.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty cool.
Nobody wants to go watch Texas and Oklahoma State play.
I've been working on the railroad.
But anyway, that's the podcast for today, guys. Catch us tomorrow. We have the Stars and Stripes podcast with us, and it'll be a good week of podcasts, a good week of Sooner football. Looking forward to the Army game. Lighten up. We beat Iowa State. We're 3-0.
We're a pretty good football team.
We're a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
That's it for today. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Remember, right now, subscribe to this podcast so you won't miss an episode. Check us out tomorrow. We'll have Army Fans Podcast Stars and Stripes on with us. Boomer Sooner, everyone, and beat Army.